While the hero doesn't always come out on top in movies, it's generally made abundantly clear when the bad guy wins, right? Well, every so often, movies get a little bit more sly and subtle about the villain's victory, perhaps because they don't want to downplay the hero's successes or make the movie a pure downer. Yet, all the same, and following up on our last video on the subject, I'm Ewan, this is What Culture, and here are 8 more movie villains you didn't realize actually won. Number 8. Robert Callahan, Big Hero 6. Big Hero 6's villain is a masked man known as Yokai, later revealed to be Professor Robert Callahan, played by the always brilliant James Cromwell, who faked his death as part of a revenge plot against tech magnate Alistair Cray, Alan Tudyk. And though Callahan is ultimately arrested at the end of the movie, he straight up accomplished everything that he set out to do. He obliterated Cray's HQ by reactivating the teleportation portal, and most importantly, he got his daughter Abigail back, who disappeared while working as a test pilot on one of Cray's portal experiments. All in all, a few years in jail for executing his plan as intended is probably a pretty acceptable trade-off for Callahan, especially as he rescued his beloved daughter. It's just a shame that the plan inadvertently led to the death of protagonist hero's older brother Tadashi, which Callahan at least expresses regret for. Even so, the outcome for Callahan was absolutely a net positive. Number 7. Azog the Defiler, The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. In Peter Jackson's less than necessary Hobbit trilogy, Orc War Chief Azog the Defiler's plan was to wipe out the male bloodline of Durin by killing Thorin Oakenshield and his nephews Fili and Kili. And in the third film, The Battle of the Five Armies, he absolutely succeeds. Sure, Azog also dies during his final battle on the ice with Thorin, but it's certainly anything but a victory for the Dwarven King, who also perishes from his wounds moments later. This was Azog's personal quest from the outset of the trilogy. He took an oath and damn it, he followed through, even at the cost of his own life. And while the films might brush it under the carpet in pursuit of a more triumphant, crowd-pleasing climax, Azog totally succeeded in wiping out Thorin's bloodline just as he swore he would. If that's not winning, then what is? Number 6. Freddy Krueger, A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. Though it's fair to say that Robert Englund's Freddy Krueger just loves to torment young folk through their dreams, his wider operating goal since the start of the series has been to kill off the children of the parents who banded together and killed him in revenge for murdering 20 local children all those years ago. And in A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, Freddy finally follows through with his quest, killing the so-called last of the Elm Street children, Kristen Parker, who was burned to death midway through the movie. Kristen herself even hammers the point home by telling Freddy moments before her demise that she is the last. And while the series of course continued on for many more installments, for the franchise's midway point, Freddy had effectively accomplished his main mission. The rest of the souls he claims after that point are just gravy, basically, and no matter how many times he's defeated in the subsequent movies, nobody can take away from him the fact that he killed all of the original Elm Street children. Number 5. President Snow, The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. Granted, there aren't many movie villains who get ripped apart by an angry mob and can still genuinely lay claim to coming out on top, but The Hunger Games President Snow, Donald Sutherland, is no ordinary villain. Though Snow is murdered by a rabble of irate citizens in Mockingjay Part 2, this comes at the end of a long, successful, and enriched life. He got to live many, many decades as the autocratic ruler of Panem, and through Katniss's actions, not only avoids an official, formal execution, he also gets to see his nemesis, President Coin, get murdered by her before he dies. Even accepting Snow's own brutal death, he literally goes out laughing, knowing that he managed to talk Katniss into killing his enemy, robbing her of the power she so desperately craved before he himself was finished off. It may be a Pyrrhic victory for Snow, but it's a victory nonetheless. Number 4. Terrence Fletcher, Whiplash. Whiplash seemingly ends with jazz drummer Andrew Nyman, played by a career best Miles Teller, triumphing over his abusive former instructor Terrence Fletcher, J.K. Simmons, by leading the band in a mesmerizing performance of the jazz standard Caravan. This is despite Fletcher's attempts to publicly embarrass him by having the band first play a song that Andrew doesn't know. However, even beyond the debates about whether Andrew pushed himself too far in the pursuit of greatness, didn't Fletcher ultimately get what he really wanted? His own Charlie Parker. A few scenes earlier, Fletcher laments to Andrew that despite his efforts, he was never able to mold his own Charlie Parker, a genuine musical prodigy formed by his harsh, if we're being kind, methods. But with Andrew's stunning final performance, Fletcher finally got it. Andrew may think he was the real winner by subverting Fletcher's plan to embarrass him on stage, but all it did was push Andrew to give the best rendition of his life and fulfill Fletcher's own twisted ambition. Number 3. Richmond Valentine, Kingsman: The Secret Service. Now, to be completely fair, Kingsman's villain Richmond Valentine, Samuel L. Jackson, absolutely did not want to die at the end. But all the same, he was ultimately far more successful in pulling off his population-curbing plan than the movie's ending or its sequel would have you believe. Valentine's hilariously over-the-top scheme involved giving away free SIM cards to everyone on Earth before transmitting a signal which would turn them murderously violent, all in the pursuit of whittling down the population and stemming global warming. We see a brief display of this potential when Valentine activates a signal in the third act, causing absolute chaos around the world until the signal is stopped. People instantly start fighting and killing each other, with even parents, including Eggsy's own mother, trying to kill their own kids. And yet, director Matthew Vaughn kind of glosses over the fallout at the end of the film, no matter that surely millions, even tens of hundreds of millions of people would have been killed globally, especially the young, old, and vulnerable. Even with the signal only being active for such a short time, Valentine likely wiped out a decent portion of the world's population. Number 2. Ozymandias Watchman. Plenty of spirited debate, shall we say, about whether Ozymandias is Watchman's true villain or not, but you know, the guy kinda sorta murders 15 million people in his quest to unite the world against a common enemy, Dr. Manhattan. And that's not exactly heroic. There's absolutely a cruel, perverse logic to his actions, which are at least initially shown to completely succeed. The world does unite together, Manhattan is exiled from Earth, and the single dissenting hero, Rorschach, is even killed by Manhattan on his way out of the door. Some will point to the film's final scene, where Rorschach's journal ends up in the hands of a New York tabloid, as proof that Ozymandias' ruse will eventually be exposed. But think about it, who's gonna believe it? The scrawlings of a deranged vigilante have considerably less credibility than a retired superhero turned businessman, especially when published by a cranky paranoid tabloid. As such, it's incredibly likely that humanity at large would posthumously dismiss Rorschach as a fringe lunatic conspiracy theorist, and Ozymandias wouldn't face any major repercussions for his actions. He won in pretty much every way that matters. And number 1. Khan Noonien Singh, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Ricardo Montalban's iconic villain Khan Noonien Singh may not survive the events of the greatest Star Trek movie, Wrath of Khan, but he nevertheless fulfills his primary objective: to, in his own words, do something far worse than kill Captain Kirk. Hurt him, and hurt him bad. Khan's actions end up severely damaging the Enterprise, in turn causing Spock's sacrificial death, and in Kirk's quest to resurrect Spock in the third film, also leads to the death of Kirk's son, David. On top of that, the precious Genesis device is destroyed, a ton of Starfleet personnel are dead, and because Kirk kills Klingon Krueger, Christopher Lloyd, in the third movie's climax, Klingons now hate him forevermore. And I mean, relatable, I'd also kind of hate you if you killed Klingon Christopher Lloyd. Sorry, Bill Shatner. And yeah, that's a big old mess that Khan created for Kirk, and consequently a lot of pain even long after Khan himself is dead. Khan cuts Kirk and he cuts him deep. No matter that he didn't actually kill the guy, instead he left him to live and experience the full feeling of his pain. And those were 8 more movie villains you didn't realize actually won. Any villains you feel secretly handed a big fat L to their opponents in a given film? Shout them out down in the comments below. Don't forget to drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss another upload. Either way, thank you all for watching. I've been Ewan, this has been What Culture, and I'll hopefully catch you next time. Bye!